Alright, good evening po sa inyong lahat at welcome na naman sa isang edisyon ng Tech Sabado dito po sa isang napakagandang lugar namin na kinukuhanan sa Quad Co-working Space in BGC. So magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Jing Garcia po ng TechSabado.com and of course the Manila Times. Tonight is March 28 at napakaganda na ating usapan ngayon Sabado na to. And I'm sure mag-e-enjoy din kayo. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin kung ano to. Pero before natin umpisan yan, pakilala ko muna ang ating mga kasama dito sa Tech Sabado since we started back in 2015. Unahin ko na siyempre ang kasama ko since Radyo 5 Days, walang iba kundi si Atty.
Melvin Calimag po. Ayun, nandoon. Ng Newsbytes.ph. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Today is March 28 and good evening to everyone. Jing?
Ang ating naman kasamahan ko sa Manila Times, siyempre ang tito ng San Pablo, Laguna, walang iba kundi si Tito.
Yan, magandang gabi po. Tito Tribs, Raymund Tribdino ng The Manila Times at ng cleantechnica.com. Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Gaya ng sinabi ko, napakaganda ng usapan natin. Alam niyo kung bakit? Dahil bukas, March 29, ang 32nd anniversary ng Internet sa Pilipinas. Yun po yung araw kung saan tayo unang kumabit sa World Wide Web. Yan. So, ngayong gabi, isang oras natin pag-uusapan yan dahil ang galing na ating mga guests. Sila po ang witness dito sa ating first connection with the global Internet. Yes. Attorney.
Okay, tuwad po na sinabi ni Jing, mga internet pioneers, local internet pioneers ang natin ng guest natin ngayon. Di natin sinasabing matatanda sila. They're just veterans and pioneers. Okay. Una-una po dyan, of course, ating kaibigan, si Fernando Contreras Jr. or JR for short. Si JR po is the President and CEO of 𝒏𝒏𝒊𝒑𝒑𝒊𝒏 Incorporated. He is also the co-founder of 𝑨𝒏𝒏𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒕 Technology, a company doing development for the next generation of AI technologies. Mas rin siya, serial entrepreneur. He used to be with yung mga early ISPs.
Yes.
Yan. And he's also a former tech executive for HP, for Oracle. And then of course, he's one of the lead conveners of Project Limang Siglo, yung ating collab partner for Tech Sabado. Okay, walang ba? Let me introduce si JR Contreras. Good evening, JR.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, JR. Konting greetings naman dyan.
Background.
Good evening sa lahat ng viewers natin sa Tech Sabado. So, maganda yung pag-uusapan kasi 32 years ago, kumunek nga yung Pilipinas sa internet. 3 years old lang ako noon. Kaya, joke yan. Ay maganda pag-usapan kasi ngayon, ang challenge ngayon, lalo na sa kabataan, yung internet parang gripo lang ng tubig. Bubuksan mo, lalabas na lang yung tubig.
Utility
parang ganun eh.
Lang,
okay lang sana utility siya, pero ang mabigat na challenge ngayon, nababaliwala. Parang ang tubig eh.
Taken for granted na.
Pag walang wifi, okay yun eh. Or gamitin mo yung wifi ngayon, mag-download ka, manood ka na sabay-sabay, wala silang pakialam sa konsepto ng paggamit ng resource eh. So, maganda pag-usapan yun.
Yes.
At pagbabago.
Ang next natin guest, introduce ni Tito Tribs, another pioneer sa industriya ng information technology, lalo na dito siyempre sa Pilipinas.
Yan
Tito
po.
Tribs.
Si Kelsey. Masahin ko, Kelsey Hartigan go. Siya ay, ini-insist niya na lahat ito ay retired and former. So siya ho ay former CIO ng SM Prime Holdings, naging head din po siya ng Director for Information Technology and Services sa De La Salle. Pero ngayon po siya ay CIO ng at Philippines Founding Director at former Philippine Institute of Development Studies Consultant. Pero pinakagusto kong title para sa kanya ay Internet Evangelist.
Akala ko cardinal.
Hindi, kasi kaya di ba?
Evangelist.
Pwede natin siya tawaging cardinal. Internet cardinal.
Yun.
Oo, di ba?
Kasi kamukha niya si Cardinal Tagle.
Cardinal Chito Tagle. Jing, ba't ako yung unang question?
Ano muna si...
Ay, sorry. Binasa ko na eh.
Oo.
Hindi.
Konting introduction.
Okay. medyo lucky lang ako doon. I was in the right place at the right time. Naghahanap sila ng tao na marunong mag-network. Kaya ako tinawagan na makisalo sa grupo na yan at nagdala ng internet sa Pilipinas.
Okay.
Luckily din tayo kasi napagbigay ng grant galing sa DOST. Kundi hindi natin matutupad to
Na makonect.
na makakonect tayo sa internet
Okay.
dahil lang sa DOST.
Okay.
So tonight we will break the myth na bumalot dito sa internet connection sa Pilipinas para magkaroon ng historical truth kasi mga witnesses na mismo tong
Correct.
kasama natin yung mga araw na yon. So yan, Tito Tribs, bato mo yung first question mo.
Sinabi na niya kasi, unang question, totoo bang nag-connect? Ganun ba talaga yung connection?
Paano ba nangyari?
Paano ba may pumunta mo rin, nag-plug in, tapos kumonekta tayo?
Sa totoo lang,
Yun.
mayroon yun. Kasi during that time, March 29, may anong tawag dyan? May conference sa Cebu.
Correct.
On internet, email, and on internet, no? So lahat pumunta dyan. Pero ang highlight ng conference na yan, i-connect sa internet. So naiwan sa Manila si Benji Tan. Ang kaibigan natin si Benji Tan, bless his soul. He passed away a few years ago. So siya naiwan dito, siyang nagkabit. Basically, nagdala ng router sa kotse niya, dinala sa PLDT. At
Physically.
plug-in niya.
I was the fellow who installed the Cisco 7000 at PLDT's data center.
So tama ka. Physically.
So in the early hours of March 29, 1994, dinala niya yung isang malaking router. Malaki yun eh. Cisco 7000. Cisco 7000, which is parang ref na maliit yun. Physically nilagay niya sa maliit na kotse, maliit yung kotse niya. Then went to the main building of PLDT, yung Coangco building. Placed it on a rack there, did the physical connection, configured it, and waited.
Pero yung conference sa Cebu, bakit dito?
Okay.
Oo.
Yun yung, kasi, well, if you look at the consortium, yung grupong nagdala ng internet is a foundation called PHNet. Okay. So PHNet is a consortium of those who first connected to the internet. And part of the consortium are schools.
Okay.
So at that time, si Kelsey was with Salle, and some other folks are with other university like sila Richie at sila Arnie with Ateneo. Sa UP sila Romel.
UP, hindi si Romel, Rodel. Rodel Atanasio.
Rodel Atanasio. Isa sa nakakonect din doon is someone from University of San Carlos.
USC.
USC.
Si
University.
Manman Quintanar.
So, to highlight na kahit saan pwedeng gawin, they did the conference and decided to do it in Cebu. Ano yung title ng conference? Interesting yung title ng conference. Naalala mo ba?
First electronic mail conference.
May international, di ba?
International.
First international email conference. May t-shirt ka pa ba noon?
Buhay pa yung t-shirt.
Hingan natin yung picture.
Akala ko.
O ngayon yung question ko, kasi I think it's 1990 or 91, yung isang telecom sa UK, ang first text message nila using SMS was Merry Christmas. Ano yung first email message ng Pilipinas?
Ayan, maganda yan.
Jesus. Hindi ko maalala noon. Hindi message eh.
Nag-gopher ba? Or
Nag-login si Danny Kaakbay.
Danny Kaakbay.
Sa
server niya sa
Vienna, Austria.
Because he was doing a master's then, ano?
No, he was
based there.
He was employed there. He was based there. Pero Pinoy siya. So, during that conference, ang dami natin Pinoy na worldwide dumating.
Okay.
Para to share their knowledge, pag-usapan tong internet na to. At that time, kasi nobody knows what internet is.
Yes.
Walang Google.
Wala pa.
Wala pang Google. So, nobody knows, right? Pero everybody knows it's important. Kasi kailangan, mostly mga research and educational, sa academe, research foundation, kailangan nila, alam nila yung usefulness ng internet. So, kailangan talaga mag-connect ng internet. Pero if you go back a little bit on history, all the schools they know about the internet. They want to connect to the internet. Pero it's super, super expensive.
Yes.
I was employed in LaSalle. Sorry. I was employed in LaSalle way back in 89. So in 1990, I was given the task to connect to the internet. So lahat, ni-research ko na. Isang leased line na 9.6 kilobit per second. 9.6 kilobit.
Yep.
Okay?
0.6 kilobit, yes.
Would cost us something like $10,000 to $12,000 a month.
A month.
Oo.
OMG.
Oo. Parang isang Mercedes-Benz na yan.
Correct.
Kada buwan.
Buwan-buwan.
Kada buwan.
Buwan-buwan.
Buwan-buwan,
Oo.
wow.
So, talagang hindi kaya. Okay? I know Ateneo was also trying to do the same thing. All the other schools are trying to do the same thing. Pero hindi kaya kasi sobrang mahal. So, in 93, parang kinausap lang ng DOST na sinabi na, okay, we want to connect to the internet, hindi kaya. So, the schools actually banded together.
Okay.
Ateneo, UP, LaSalle. Kasama ni ASTI nun, Advanced Science Technology
Yes,
Institute.
Under DOST.
Oo.
Yes.
So, sinabi natin, okay, pull tayo ng resources. Magkabit tayo sa internet. So, may grant na maliit na galing DOST. If I recall right, 70,000 pesos. No? Parang long distance call.
Okay.
Kasi wala pang mga lease line eh. So, mahal nun. So, magda-dial up lang.
Dial up talaga.
Dial
no?
up lang. So, nag-set up ng network among the schools para mag-connect using UUCP. Diba?
Oh,
If you know
okay.
UUCP,
Yes.
it's very, very old
Very
technology.
old.
Diba? And it was working. And then Ateneo would call to one sponsor university in Australia, VUT, Victoria University of Technology.
Okay.
Kasi may tie-up sila doon eh.
Yep.
Now, why Ateneo? Kasi sila lang may extra telephone line.
Remember
Okay.
that time.
Yeah.
Telephone is very hard
Yes,
to get.
yes.
Well,
Pag-apply
party
ka,
line pa nung
you get
araw,
it
di ba?
7 years after.
Correct.
Shared lines
Six
pa lahat.
number.
Party
Oo.
line.
Yun yung importante sinabi nyo rin,
Correct,
shared.
correct.
Ano?
Oo.
Yung Ateneo lang ang may extra,
Extra.
dedicated
Okay.
telephone line. Hindi siya
Okay.
shared. So, hindi siya
Grabe.
local.
Grabe.
Direct line.
Okay.
Kumbaga.
Oo. So, yun lang. Kaya, ang node natin to internet was through Ateneo. Okay. Ang projection namin was, the budget will last for a year. In 3 months, naubos na. Kasi,
Grabe.
oo.
Kasi long distance per minute
Yes,
binabayaran.
Lahat
oo,
sa
mga
metered.
araw.
Oh,
So,
yun ang sasabihin ko. Lahat sa
metered yan,
metered
diba?
lahat.
Oo.
So, at saka hindi mo pwedeng putulin kung may data dumarating.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
lalo every time, tumatagal yung connection.
Oo.
At saka sa bagal niya.
Yeah.
Oo.
Diba?
Tsaka email lang yun.
Email lang.
Email lang
Correct.
yun.
Oh.
Wala pang ibang services. So, ngayon, kinausap na ulit yung DOST, baka pwedeng mas malaki yung budget para gawin natin permanent. Di ba? Pagbilang namin. At that time, a 64 kilobit line will cost us something like 12,000 pesos. Medyo nag-improve na. Kasi in 1990, 12,000 is 9.6.
Oo.
Ngayon, 12,000
Is,
is
64.
64 na.
Dollars ha, dollars.
Dollars pa rin.
Dollars. So, siyempre, nag-set up ng UP, LaSalle, Ateneo as the, tapos sinabi dapat kasama UPLB. Okay, fine, sama UPLB. Bili lang namin. Hindi kaya pa rin. So, pinag-isipan, baka damihan na natin yung eskwela. Gawin na natin regional. Okay. May Luzon, may Visayas, Mindanao. Dagdag ng eskwela. Kasi hindi kaya i-support ng ganun kalaki na bayad eh. So, ang nangyari doon, sinama na, I think 12 schools eh. So, sa Luzon, let's say Louis University.
Sa Baguio.
Sa Baguio.
Okay. Kasama UPLB, syempre DOST kasama yan. Syempre, siya bibigay ng pera. Sa Visayas, San Carlos.
Okay.
Okay. Sa
Mindanao, Xavier.
may dalawa pinili.
MSU.
MSU IIT, saka Xavier University. Kasi MSU IIT, parang government school yun. So sabi, dapat kasama yun.
State college.
State University. Mukhang parang sinabi na kulang pa yata eh. So nagdagdag pa ulit. I think kasama din UST. So University of Santo Tomas. Ilan ba? 12 nila?
Grabe effort, no?
Oo. Ang
Just to pull $12,000.
Oo, grabe.
ngayon, nandiyan yung pera, ibibigay tayo sa itong schools, pero anong school?
Sino tatanggap?
Sino tatanggap?
Oo nga.
Okay, wala pang organization eh. So, naghanap sila ng isang accredited organization ng DOST. That's IRF, Industrial Research Foundation.
Okay.
So, it's a private foundation, pero tumutulong sa mga projects ng DOST. So, itong pera binigay sa IRF para mag-set up. So, the appointed person na project to head all of this was Dr. Rodolfo Villerica.
Rudy Villerica.
Rudy, si Dr. Rudy, no? So, siya nag-manage lahat. So, parang, ano kailangan natin, and so forth. With the schools serving as technical advisors. Parang, okay, ano gagawin natin, ano kailangan natin, and so forth. So, kailangan natin ng router. O kailangan natin ng baseline. So, ito, habang hinintay yung big router tsaka connection to the US, sinet up natin yung local network.
Okay.
So, Lasal was connected to Ateneo over this line to UP, Diliman.
Para tayo may ARPANET.
Parang gano'n.
Oo,
Pero local.
ARPANET
Oo.
noong araw.
So, ginawa na. So, may maliit na router na connected na. Diba? So, habang inaayos yung connection to US, Stockton, California, if I remember right. So, talagang tiniming yun connection on March 29. But the local network between Ateneo, Lasal, UP, na-set up na. Including
And
Cebu.
University.
And University of San Carlos in Cebu. Naka-set up na yan. So, pag connect any node to the network, lahat yan.
Lahat na.
Active na yan.
Oh,
So, yun.
That's
Yun ang
the-
sagot sa katanungan mo.
Correct.
Yung DOST secretary din was
William Padolina. Yes, Dr. William Padolina.
Who was also very instrumental.
Actually, USEC siya. Ang secretary noong time was Ricardo.
Gloria.
Gloria.
Pero but he was parang parang working behind the scenes. Siya
Siya
yung
yung USEC.
main guy ng DOST.
Siya ang talaga push for it.
Okay.
Oo. Tapos, ang kasunod sa kanya, si USEC, Dr. Padolina. So, sumunod kay Dr. Gloria, si Dr. Padolina.
I'm Bill Torres. I am a professor of IT in Mapua right now. And I'm still a student of the internet up to now.
So, what specifically yung roles ng these two guys, si Secretary Gloria and William Padolina?
Everything. Pag wala sila, walang budget. Pera ni DOST.
Ng DOST yun. Okay.
So, 12.7 million.
What about can we talk about the father and the grandfather of the Philippine internet?
Okay. So,
Magandang kwento rin yan.
mahaba-haba kwento yun.
Mahaba kwentuhan.
We have the time.
Ang purported grandfather niyan, ang nag-conceptualize lahat ng internet nito was yung dating director ng NCC, si Dr. William Torres.
Bill Torres.
Siya ang grandfather.
So technically,
siya ang grandfather.
Bakit grandfather? Siya nag-conceptualize, sabi niya, okay, kailangan ng internet, and so forth, diba? And he actually, in 1990, Ateneo, UP, Los Baños, UP, Diliman, and Lasal came together to come up with a study on setting up the internet. So, he funded that study, research, o ano kailangan gawin, and so forth.
During the Cory administration, there was an interest for some Filipinos to meet with US-based Filipinos to find out how they can help the Philippines. I brought with me a proposal about connecting schools via satellite so that we can distribute school materials to all the provinces. That's when I learned that the internet was going to be commercialized soon.
And yun, the result of that study was, okay, yes, kailangan, maganda, pero mahal, hindi kaya natin.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bill Torres was the actual person that actually pushed for the internet by grouping this together again in 1993.
Okay. Pero wala pa yung MOSCOM noon, yung ISP ni Dr. Torres.
Wala pa.
Si ano pa yun? Who's the founder?
Bill,
the founder. Willigan was the founder.
Willigan.
Willigan was the founder of
Willigan,
Comnet.
yes, Willigan.
Comnet. Okay.
Comnet is the owner of Moscom also. So, sila yung reseller ng Cisco during that time.
Sila nagbebenta ng Cisco.
Okay.
Okay.
Oo.
And Benji is an engineer from Comnet during that time.
Okay.
So, even prior to this, kasi by that time I was working with HP already. Well, I was studying also at the same time. Prior to that, meron ng data communication and networking sa Pilipinas na nangyayari. So, kung tatanungin mo, kailan technically connect sa internet? Meron na. Pero yung permanent connection, naka-lease line tayo, came in at 1994, yung March 29, 1994.
Yun yung what we actually know as the
Yes.
World Wide Web na
Kasi
connected
even
tayo.
prior to that, even ako, I was exposed to data communication, X25, because that was part of my role in HP then. Okay, pakibigyan. I use a 2.4 K baud, 2,400 baud rate modem, dial up to Singapore to dial in to get our mails. Siyempre, hindi pa standard mail yun. Proprietary mail yun. We were using HP desk during that time. So, that was the mail. But we were using, similar to other big companies, like, isa nga sa claim, di ba? IBM has fixed connection then.
IBM has may sariling connection.
Connection na.
EV,
Oh,
Caltech.
yeah.
Pero most of them,
Mayroon.
private yan.
Correct.
Hindi siya yung public internet.
What we know right now na internet.
So like for HP, hindi kami naka-IP. X25 yung protocol. Pero meron na yan. And in the late 80s and early 90s, nagkaroon din ng boom nung tinatawag na RBBS. Remote Bulletin Board System.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yan yung mga time nila, di ba? Nila
Si
Jim Mason,
Carlos Legazpi.
Legazpi.
Yung taga-Subic, Bill English. Bill something.
Tapos, yung importante dyan, one of the best RBBS that time was a BBS called SCAN International. SCAN was being operated by Eduardo Manalo.
Oh, yeah.
They had, kasi may sobra silang telepono eh.
Correct.
Is this the Edmund?
Yes, it's the same. Executive Minister. So you have to give credit where credit is due. Isa sila sa unang
Silang una.
sa data communication.
Correct.
Pero ano yun? BBS yun. So meaning, may telepono ako sa bahay, may modem ako, dadial ako local. Kasi, kumbaga, magte-telebabad ako locally.
Pag connect mo sa system nila, naka-connect siya by radio.
By
Radio to Japan.
Correct. Kasi ham radio operator. Ham radio operator siya.
So, dati, ang
Radio
internet
frequency
was
pala.
using packrat.
Correct.
Using extra 25 pa,
Yeah.
So, may datacom sa nangyayari from both the private, pero yung nagsimula yung maging regular nga is when the push of the schools, yun nga, yung grupo nila, at sa IRF pa yon, tapos yung PHNet, kukonect dial-up muna. Pero 93, 94. During that time, I was a student in Ateneo. Swerte rin ako. The right place, the right time. Isa kami dun sa binigyan ng account. So, sa Ateneo, yung mga servers namin, unique yung mga pangalan nun. Ang servers namin dun kasi, pulutan. So, si Sisig, si Balut.
Yung mga pangalan ng mga servers.
Pagkain. Si Pusit, si Sisig. Sa UP, ano mga pangalan ng servers nila?
Ay, supermodels.
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 Si Christine, Naomi.
Yeah. Tanong mo sa Lasal, ano yung servers nila?
Marunong kami bumilang. So, may Vax 1, Vax 2, Vax 3, Linux 1,
Numbers
Linux 2,
pa rin talaga.
Level
Alam
1,
natin
Level
sa
2,
Lasal.
Level 3. Ay, marunong kami bumilang. UP.
So ako swerte lang, isa ako sa estudyante, nagkaroon ako ng account kay Pusit.
Okay.
So since may email ako, kasama yun sa hinihilang email pag nag-dial sila sa...
Yun ang sasabihin mo,
BPU.
parang yung identification.
Yeah, hindi, kasi yun yung email mo.
Yung email.
Name mo at pusit.ateneo.edu.ph.
Okay. So yung pala, isa sa mga earlier days ng internet, no, pag-uusapan pa natin as we continue our discussion ng ng first Philippine connection sa sa global internet. Magbe-break muna tayo at babalik ang Tech Sabado, a few reminders.
Hi, this is Kelsey Hartigan. Please like, share, and follow Tech Sabado on their social media pages.
Okay, we're back dito sa Tech Sabado at syempre kausap pa rin natin si Kelsey and JR regarding yung first time nag-connect ang Pilipinas sa internet yan dahil bukas, March 29, ang 32nd anniversary ng Philippine Internet. Syempre, sa ating sa bansa. So, sineselebrate natin to ngayon sa Tech Sabado through stories kung ano talaga nangyari when we first connected to the World Wide Web and the whole internet. Yan. So, we're back here. So again, with JR and Kelsey. So tuloy natin yung kwento. During the break, ang dami natin na pagkwentuhan din sa span of that ilang minutes na yun, kagad tayo, ang dami natin na pag-usapan. Pero gusto ko malaman nung time na yun, ano bang, nung hindi pa talaga tayo connected, tapos sabi nyo nga na yung mga universities, they are connected to locally, no? Ano yung usually yung pag-uusapan o ano yung ginagawa for aside from email, ano pa ba? Mga academic staff ba to?
Oo. Basically, kasi like I was in Salle, diba? So, ang ginawa ko, binigay ko lahat ng estudyante. May email. All the professors may email.
Okay.
Mga professors dyan, foreign educated eh. So, alam nila anong internet eh.
Oo.
So, may kausap sila sa abroad.
Oh, okay.
So, immediately, marami nang pumapasok na email. So once na-publish na, Philippines is already connected to internet, ang daming natanggap na email from everywhere. Sinasabi na, paano ko makontak yung relative ko? Paano makontak? Siyempre, wala pa tayong ISP nun. Sa eskwela pa lang yun, di ba? So, medyo, it took a lot of time and effort to try to explain. Siyempre, ang dami nun.
Sino first ISP?
Ang technically first is Moscom, Pero prior to that, may mga maliliit na, like sila Portalink, di ba? Portalink, pero hindi kasing agresibo. So Portalink sila Patrick Dikin. Okay. Kami rin, my ISP was incorporated 1994. I was still studying then, pero hindi pa kasi nag-up yung lease line namin ng 94. Kasi nga, it takes a while to set us up. Ang gastos namin, kasi nga private kami, $20,000 kami for 64K monthly.
64,
kasi
wow.
10,000 local, 10,000 foreign din.
And dial-up lahat ito, no?
Hindi, lease line na yun.
Lease line na.
Pero 94, since nakita namin nga noong 94, may ganito yung internet, nag-lease line sila. While I was working, gumawa ako ng business plan, so tinatayo ko. But recognize sila Bill. But I have to acknowledge also the likes of sila Portalink, sila Patrick Dickens, maaga rin sila. So siguro yung first 5 kasama si Portalink, kami, Iphil Communication, that was my company, Moscom, sama mo na si Globe, kasi meron silang maliit, sama mo si IBM, because they sold at that time.
AT&T Global.
Yeah, yun pa. So, yun yung mga 5. So, pero Moscom was recognized, kasi sila yung nakakonect din kasi sila sa sa PHnet.
Nakakatuwa may kwento. Anecdote. Willie Gan, yung the founder ng Comnet. Comnet set up Moscom. So, sister company yan. So, Moscom, parang tinanong niya, bakit ang parang yung monthly dues mo for internet access is 2,000? Paano mo nakuha yan? Sabi, out of the thin air.
Okay.
Hindi. Ang basis niya was how much are people willing to pay?
Okay.
Hindi dahil computer, okay, I have this lines, I have this number of customers, and this is my cost, this is my expense. And wala. Wala yan.
Yun ang basic.
How much are people willing to pay? Ganon.
Pero naintindihan naman mga tao nung araw na mahal talaga ang telecommunication. Pero Pero gusto ko lang i-mention din na during that time ng internet connection natin with the internet, first time natin, that was also the time ng telecom deregulation.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very very crucial yun.
95
95.
Yes,
Ah,
diba?
95 yun.
Yun yung yes.
So when we got connected in 94, yung 95 was very important kasi lumabas yung batas, the Telecom Deregulation Act, naglabasan din na magkakaroon na ng telco. Pero ang pananaw pa ng ng gobyerno at saka yung sa batas, kailangan meron kang assigned area na maglalagay ka ng telepono at meron kang tinatawag na IGF, International Gateway Facility, independent.
Not only that, ito pinaka-importante. Before the Telecoms Act came out, parang sinasabi, internet kailangan i-regulate. Kailangan kang kumuha ng franchise.
Franchise, yes.
Oo. So, pinaglaban ng PHNet yan na hindi dapat i-franchise and so forth kasi it is going to hamper the growth of internet. So eventually, yun, lumabas, hindi na kailangan ng franchise. Kailangan na mag-register. Yun lang. Register na, okay, ISP ako, pwede ako mag-gigil ng internet and so forth.
Kasi meron akong question. Bakit unlike ngayon na wala ng ISPs, directly ang players are the telecom providers. Bakit noon you have to go through the ISPs instead of going directly to the providers? Telecom providers.
During the time, telco facilities are provided by telco. Pero in the Telecoms Act, telcos are required to keep a separate books of account.
Okay.
Para walang conflict of interest. Kasi ikaw as telco, ikaw magsusupply ng linya to ISP eh.
Okay.
Kung susupply ka sa linya yourself, parang may advantage ka over yun sa kliyente mo.
Yes.
'Di ba? So sa Telecoms Act, hindi naman pinagbawal. Pinagsabi lang na kailangan i-separate.
Okay.
So most telcos did not do that. Hiniwalay. Pero that's why yung PLDT, Globe, medyo huli na sila sa ISP business. Oo. But since they're telco, they can do, marami na nilang customer eh. So they have the economy scale. So unti-unti, nawawala yung mga ISP through the years.
Kung babalikan mo rin kasi sa buong mundo naman, it's not the telco who started the internet. They're the infrastructure provider. In some countries, for example, like Japan, ganun pa rin yung prinsipyo ngayon. So, NTT, the dominant telco, it's actually the biggest telco in the world, sila ang provider ng fiber, ng physical connection. Pero, pag kukuha ka na ng internet, after your connection, you have to subscribe separately. So, ang tawag nila doon, unbundled service. So, in Japan, for example, buhay pa si Yahoo. May Yahoo BB, Yahoo Broadband. May SoftBank. So, pwede ka mamili ng internet mo, pero yung physical cable mo, NTT pa rin. Ganon din naman nangyari sa lahat. Kaya lang, syempre, if you control the infrastructure, the physical cable, natutunan mo na yung teknolohiya, ikaw na rin nagbebenta. So, in practical terms, kaya nauna yung ISP, hindi pa alam ng telco yung It's more of a business,
Medyo nahuli yung telco.
Nahuli yung telco. Hindi pa nila alam yung negosyo. Well, come to think of it, push forward, bakit ang GCash ngayon nasa banking services?
Tama.
Hindi naman sila bangko.
Hindi naman sila bangko.
Pero nasa kanila yun. Well, remember, their original partner was Globe, who owns the infrastructure to run it. Ganun yun eh. Ganun yung nangyari. So, nahuli lang sila. So, ang kwento nga namin during that time, the ISPs are trying as hard as they can to become a telco because telco are fast becoming ISPs. Nahuli lang sila. Balik lang ako dun sa law. So, ang kagandahan ng Telecoms Deregulation Law, 9365, if I remember correctly. We can search. 94 something. Yeah. So, we can Google. Pero yung Deregulation Act allows anyone to put anything on top of the infrastructure as called as a value-added service, VAS. So, yung kumpanya, for example, Iphil, we were one of the first who registered as a VAS service provider under NTC. So, may printout pa ako, tabi ko yun. So, yun. So, in 1995, the beginning of 1995 up to mid-1995, yan yung talagang, on the ISP side, yan yung lahat, everyone trying to become an ISP. So from Iphil, for example, December kasi, marami na kaming kausap na customer, kaya lang hindi pa up yung line namin. Nag-up siya ng February, March eh. Pag-up niya, dami namin ng customer. By middle of, or third quarter of the year, siguro mga 12 na kagad yung ISPs connected under us. Some of them became very big. So like for example, si Manila, si Tridel, one of our biggest customer then, na direct na kumuha kagad, was San Miguel. Si Ver Peña pa was the head. So, Ver was so interested, nandun siya nung kino-configure namin yung, yung ISP. Tapos ang IT niya was Glenn Gaduelas during that time. So, that was interesting. No? Tapos, by the third quarter, nag-organize na rin ang dumami ISP. Nag-organize na rin yung ISP. I hosted the first meeting of all ISPs. Pinakiusap ko nga yung meeting na yun sa office pa nga ng online HP kasi ang dami. Mga 80 kami umaten. And that was the birth of the trade organization, PISO.
Alam ko yun.
Pero
Philippine Internet Services.
We were one of the founding members. I was the founding secretary also. I became president eventually. Pero ngayon, wala na. Gis na lang kami. Baka wala pa. Baka meron na isang pera.
Devaluate yung piso.
Devaluate yung piso. So, dapat dollar pinangalan na.
Was the Philippines the first in Southeast Asia or in Asia to connect to the internet?
Kasabay. Halos tayo
Halos sabay. Within weeks and months of each other. China, Indonesia, and the Philippines.
Putok na kasi yung World Wide Web noon by 92. Tapos, syempre nagkaroon din sa US si the Vice President Gore, di ba? Yung information
very important
superhighways, di ba? So, yun ang talagang parang nag-pivot talaga lahat sa internet yung nung when the US government parang nag-focus sila sa information superhighway kung tawagin ni Gore noon.
Very important yung sinabi niya because Vice President Gore was the one pushing for all the deregulation of the internet actually. In fact, yung Department of Commerce noon, ang isa sa nag-push para ma-deregulate yung para ma-deregulate yung internet itself. Okay, the reason ba't sinasabi kong deregulation, may dalawang assets ang internet na nasa US government noon. One is the IP addresses. Yung IP addresses, yung
Allocation.
Yung allocation ng address. No? The next is yung names. So yung, for example,
ICANN.
Wala pang ICANN noon.
Wala pang ICANN noon.
So it's under a school before, no? It's under University of Southern California. So
And managed by a guy named John Postel.
managed by a guy named John Postel, no? So ganun yung ganun yung situation noon, And si Al Gore was the one who pushed the liberalization of that. Hindi dapat pag-aari ng Amerika yan. Okay. And that, kaya ko gusto ibalik yon. One important factor is that in 1998, we had a very big conference in the Philippines. It's the Asia Pacific Regional Internet Conference. Ang umattend doon is one senior official from the Department of Commerce of the US. Ang pangalan niya si Ira Magaziner. Umattend mga stakeholder, we got a room, doon nagsimula yung usapan na dapat mahiwalayan, and that gave birth to ICANN. So, masasabi natin yung Pilipinas kasama ron sa usapan na yun. I was in that meeting then. So, binibiro ko nga kasi we were communicating with Department of Commerce then, Sabi ko, do we need to pick up, sabi niya, ang joke pa Mr. Magaziner will come in Air Force 2. That was a joke then, So, that was the joke then. So, but it's important because of that 1998 conference, doon nagsimula na tinulak, dati isang tao lang, Dr. John Postel, from the University of Southern California. Pag humingi ka nun, for example, akin na lang yung .ph. Meron ka bang infrastructure? Meron. Sa'yo na.
Ganun lang.
Pengi akong IP address. Ilan kailangan mo? Sa'yo na.
Kung sino mauna.
Pero it's under all control of a school in California. So, Al Gore was future forward-looking siya, looking at the future. Hindi dapat pag-aari ng Amerika to. So, kailangan it's a consortium of the stakeholders. Doon na buhay yung Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers.
ICANN.
So, yun.
Yun pala yung history nun. Ganda.
And the Philippines was in the middle of that.
Yes. Part tayo.
Importante rin, tinanong niyo
Part tayo.
anong gamit ni Kelsey dun sa unang connection email. Ako, estudyante. Alam niyo yung gamit namin. Download ng files. Okay, very important yon. May gamit din yan. One of the mentor namin sa Ateneo, si Dr. Pablo Manalastas.
Si Doc Mana.
Si Doc Mana. In-expose niya kami sa isang software. Ang pangalan ng software, Linux.
Oh,
Okay.
So, sabi namin kay Doc, paano mo makukuha yan? So, sabi namin, paano mo makukuha yan? Itabi mo sa disk mo, kapal ng disk niya. Kaya sabi niya, lumang version na to, pre-version 1. Yung ginagamit pa namin nun, if I remember correctly, was Slackware.
PL99.
Oo.
.99.
Oh, so,
Version .99.
0.99 yun. So, binigay niya kami nun. Nangyari, nawala namin yung ibang disk. So, first namin ginawa was to copy the disk. And that exposed us also to familiarity with Unix. Well, may alam na kaming konti sa Unix because we were using Unix, Linux, saka
Zilog na.
At saka ako, nasa HP kasi ako, we have something similar which is HPUX. Pero, iba talaga, no? Nung magkaroon ka ng Linux, pwede na sa sarili mong PC, may
Tapos open source pa.
open source. So,
Matatakbo mo sa PC mo.
Yes.
matatak mo sa PC mo. So, kasabay nung pagpasok ng internet is pagpasok ng Linux sa Pilipinas.
Okay.
Importante rin yun, ano?
Actually, nauna yung Linux. Ang nagdala niyan dito in 93 was a guy named Jonathan Marsden
Si Jonathan Marsden,
of
yes.
Far East Broadcasting.
Yes.
Okay. Competition bit.
Hindi.
So, British siya. Yun siya nagdala. So, when we need Linux, we go to him.
Okay.
Pumunta ka pa sa office niya sa Karuhatan, Valenzuela.
Valenzuela. Nandun yung
Magkokopya kami
Oh,
ng
dahil
disket.
transmitter ng DCFE. di ba?
Magkokopya man ng disket. Pero medyo lumang version yun.
Okay.
So, itong anecdote, itong March 29 was preceding Holy Week. Okay? So, after 29, Holy Week na, wala akong magawa sa bahay. Nagda-download ako ng Linux. Nag-i-install ako ng Linux. 8 hours para mag-download.
8 hours, okay.
Okay.
Ngayon taon din naman, preceding mag-Holy Week, yung mga estudyante dyan, baka hindi nyo na alam, pwede kayo mag-download na Linux. Pero mabilis na yun, minuto na lang yan. Ano?
Okay, ang ganda ng usapan tungkol sa sa connection ng Philippine Internet noong 1994. So, magbe-break muna kami and we'll be back with a few reminders.
Raymund Tribdino of the Manila Times and CleanTechnica.com. Like, follow, subscribe Tech Sabado on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, we're back dito sa Tech Sabado. Tuloy natin yung kwentuhan tungkol sa first ever connection ng Philippine sa internet noong 1994. So, yan. Kasama natin ating mga guests. Kanina pa natin pag-usapan. Ang dami natin pag-usapan. Ang dami natin tutunan, no? Pero, medyo move forward tayo kasi nakita naman natin yung evolution ng internet through the years. So, sa 32 years, I'm sure, ang dami nangyari. So, i-compare na natin yung internet ngayon sa internet back in the 90s.
At saka it spawned a lot of industries, particularly BPO industry.
Yes,
Diba?
oo.
Kung walang internet, walang BPO.
Oo,
It's
lahat,
a multi-billion industry, di ba? And kanina nga pinag-usapan natin before the break, or during early part of the show, na we tend to take for granted that yung internet now, parang gripo nga lang na binubuksan lang. Pero it took a lot of effort, actually tears and
And government regulation.
para
Imagine even yung laws natin, di ba? It took ilang beses tayo naglabi regarding the cybercrime law in 2012 lang na
E-commerce.
napasa to. Tapos
E-commerce.
e-commerce law noong 97,
Oh,
98. Di ba? Talagang, sige, alin natin yan.
One of the reasons why tawag namin internet evangelist was after na-connect sa internet, siyempre, marami kang hindi alam kung anong internet. So, nag-organize kami yung grupo namin, nag-organize kami ng through PH Foundation, PHNet Foundation, na mga sessions around the Philippines. Na, okay, this is internet, this is how we're gonna use, this is how we're gonna, this is how much it costs, and what you can do with it. Diba? So, ang dami. I mean, sa Davao, Cebu, Bacolod, lahat, pinuntahan ko yun. Pero, ang nakita ko, yes, tinuro ko ng internet, wala naman silang know-how. Marami dyan institutions eh. Wala silang know-how na paano ikabit and so forth. So, what they want is to jumpstart. So, nag-organize din ako ng isang grupo, ang tawag dyan, Network Advisory Group. So, yun mga galing sa mga ibang eskwela yan eh. So, we go to schools or institutions, we set up the internet for them para mag-jumpstart. Yung campus network nila, fiber network nila, and so forth. Yung mga ganon. So, that's the reasons why, yun, ang daming eskwela ngayon, kinonect namin. University of Pampanga, STI, Assumption University, and so forth. Ang dami.
Nung araw talaga, kailangan ng expertise to connect to the internet kasi may mga TCP. You really need to know the numbers, the network numbers, mga ganun. Ngayon, click na lang sa sa phone.
Hindi, dati kasi, ito may sinasabi, i-google ko lang yun eh. Pero yun na tayo, wala pang Google eh.
Oh, yes.
Wala kang manual,
Tama.
walang libro.
Siya ngayon, password lang, no?
Kapa.
Pero kung babalikan mo, yun yung tanong ni Melvin din. Anong difference nun ngayon? Nung magbukas yung internet, yung hunger for knowledge was there.
Yes. Tama.
And the hunger and the feeling of sharing is parang given. In fact, nagpapatulong sa'yo competitor mo. I remember, we were directly competing with Moscow. Pero ang kausap namin, pag nagka-problema na kami sa router, kami nila Benji, which is the CTO. Ang usapan nga na, Benji, login ka na lang sa router namin, ito yung password. Imagine na competitor.
Yes.
Kasi wala kang ibang choice eh.
Yes.
The next choice that you'll have is talk to someone from Sprint or MCI in the US who have more experience than you. Pero other than that, ang importante nun sa amin, ang Biblia namin noon is a document called the RFC, Request for Comments. Request for Comment is technically the standards for everything in the internet. Pag hindi mo na alam, babalik ka ron. And this is a technical document na parang scientific document na babasahin mo yung specs. So, pero ganun dati. Ngayon kasi, lahat is taken for granted eh. So, pag kumunik ka sa Wi-Fi ngayon, okay na yun, connected na. Before, from beginning to end, you have to understand it.
Yeah.
Saka yung mga operating system dati, hindi internet ready.
Yes.
So,
sabi lang nila, internet
Wala
ready.
Wala talaga.
So,
Before 95, Windows 95.
Before Windows 95.
Wala Windows 3 pa nun.
Yes.
Windows 3. So,
3.7.
ang daming ida-download mo. Paano natin i-configure para mag-connect na internet?
Yes,
Okay. Ida-download itong device driver. Ida-download mo, configure. Tapos ida-download mo yung TCP/IP software. Nakapatong-patong yan.
Yes,
Krigwin or
Krigwin,
whatever.
Tapos magkaka-conflict pa yan pag yung mga numbers pag pareho.
Kasi ngayon, di ba, napakadali na ng computer, kabit mo ka-connecta. Before, just to connect the serial port, kasi kadalasan naman yung computer, hindi kinakabitan.
COM1, COM2.
Pag kinamit mo sa COM1, minsan hindi mo makita. Hindi niya makita yung modem.
COM1, COM2, tapos baud rate, kung tama.
Baud rate.
2400
So, dapat yung serial port mo magtugma doon sa baud rate ng modem mo.
7 bits ba o 8 bits?
Yeah, no.
Anong parity?
Ayan.
Even or none?
Wala pang compression nun. Wala pa.
Tapos makikita mo lang doon sa icon mo, may X. Wala kang connection.
Saka ang daming klaseng network card.
Yes, tama.
So, may 3
Yung mga deep switches pa nun.
Dealing. Hindi lang yun. Pati, tama driver for the model of the car.
Yes.
So, ida-download mo yan, hanapin mo yan, anong model to.
Nakakainis yung deep switches dati ng mga modem.
Yes. Buti nga may deep switch na. Dati yung physical pinning.
Yung pin.
Gagalaw mo yung
I
pin.
remember that, the black pins. Yung gagalaw mo, di ba?
So, yung time na yan, for example, just to connect to, kailangan alam mo yung specs. Yung sinasabi ni Kelsey, pag tinanong, anong speed mo? Ngayon, tinatanong mo yung speed mo, ay 50 Mbps.
That's it, no?
Dati, pag tinanong mo yung baud rate, sasabihin mo, 9.6, N, 1, P.
Hindi.
May ganun. May
Ngayon,
parity.
Auto-negotiate.
Auto-negotiate.
Akala ni makina mag-negotiate. O, ano
Dati
kaya
kasi-
mo? Ano kaya ko? Tapos, di ba? Hindi alam ng user yan.
Imagine magbibigyan kita ng speed ng modem, sabihin ko, 96, N, 1, P. Kasi ano yun, 7 or 8-bit with parity.
Parity yun, no? Parity, even or odd.
Even or odd, kaya may 1. So, dati, iisipin mo yun, ba't hindi kayo mag-connect? Or mag-connect kayo, garbage yung lumalabas. So, That was,
Minsan, nalagin ka, ba't walang color? Anong nangyari? 7-bit o 8-bit?
Tapos pag dial-up, tatatawag, hindi mo magamit kasi may gumagamit ng phone.
hindi lang. Mapuputol.
Mapuputol
download.
Mapuputol pag may nag-angat ng phone. Ano na.
Walang recovery yung download nun. Di ba? Nasa 99% ka, bigla na putol. Ulit yun.
Ulit yun.
Ganun yan.
At that speed pa, no?
But 1995 also, you see a big change in hardware, in standards. So nag-jump from 98 to 14 to 28 to 33.
33.6.
33.6. To 56K. Yun yung may compression na and everything.
Yabang mo na kung may 56
tapos
modem. 56K.
So isa sa pinagyayabang namin, 56 yung compression. But those were the times. Pero ang kaganda naman noon, natutunan namin yung basics. Ako personally, even I was the head of Iphil, I was the president of Iphil then, pag deployment ng lease line kasama ako, gusto kong makita paano ikakabit yung end-to-end. So, nakilala ko yung mga local telcos noon. And that was the time na bago pa lang na-deregulate yan. So, some of the old players, like for example, Philcom, Globe Mackay pa noon, wala pa si Globe, hindi nila naiintindihan yung value ng mga kable nila. For example, Eastern Telecoms, hindi nila alam, kasi yung partner ko, HP, their office was as Electra House. Ang isang relay station ng Eastern Telecoms was at the basement of Electra House. So imagine, nagbabalang ako ng kable ron, hindi nila alam na nagagamit ng malaki.
Yun. Yun dati, Lasal and St. Benil, makatapat, di ba? Ina-network ko yan. May LRT. Bawal mag-radyo, bawal magsampay ng So, nag-lease line ako. Nag-lease line, 9.6. Pero since it's dark
fiber,
physical wire, binili ko 9.6. Pero ginagamit ko 64.
Kasi raw 5. Raw copper. Raw copper.
So, yun. Those are the tiny little things that the telco does not know. Kasi kung 64 ang kukunin ko, mas mahal. Pero same wire lang yun. Diba?
Paano mag-charge ang telco noon?
Fix sila. So, at saka dalawa babayaran mo. So for example, when my ISP connected, I first negotiated the first one with Philcom. The reason with Philcom, sila may pinaka-aggressive rate. $10,000 monthly for 64K. Philippine N.
Okay.
So sa kabilang side naman, I had to negotiate with Sprint. It's another US telco for the US loop.
Another payment na naman yun?
Another 10,000 yun. So, negotiate ko 8,000. So, 18,000 yun. Then I have to get feed from
yung internet service.
Yung internet service, another 2,000.
Bayaran mo yun.
Gabi.
Kasi you own the line, you can run it. In fact, ang gamit nila sa lease line noon, kunwari yung may 64K ka, ang gamit mo noon, pwede mong i-multiplex yun and you will have 8 phone lines direct to the US.
Okay.
Yun yung practical use ng lease line noon. Because of
bawal
multiplexing. Bawal. Pero yun yung bypass na tinatawag nila. Pero yun yung binibenta nila yun. In fact, when I was 1994 was negotiating, I was talking with PLDT, I was talking with Global. PLDT was sabi, illegal yung gagawin nyo. Sabi ko na illegal. And we know that we're not using it for voice. Then eventually we found a telco, which is Philcom. Basta nasa clause doon, bawal kami magdaan ng voice doon.
Okay.
So because it constitute ang tinatawag nilang international bypass. So yun ang pinoprotektahan kasi nila noon, yun yung bread and butter nila.
Yes.
Kami naman, data dadaan namin. Tapos yung first tanong nga sa akin, nung nagkausap ko yung mga telco, I was still studying. How can you afford this? Then, what are you going to do with it? It's so big capacity. 64K, so malaki na ng time na yan. Ano gagawin mo dyan? Naglalaro ka lang ba? So, it was very hard to buy, to convince a telco to buy. Karang bigyan mo ako.
In fact, PLDT was so late in the game, in order to jumpstart, bumili sila na
binili si Philnet.
Philnet,
yes, I remember that.
Infocom. So sila Julie Figueroa. Sila Julie Figueroa. Cliff is the son. Cliff Figueroa is the son.
Okay.
Julie is the mother.
So ngayon, bumabalik sa akin, nung time na yun, mga first days ko sa internet, makilala ko nga si Jim Ison nung time. Siya yung nag-introduce sa akin to get online and do all these things.
The official
multimedia.
chronicler.
Yes, yung mga to do all this media. Tinitake ko for granted ko na pala itong mga kwento ninyo. Nung araw na yun, nandun lang ako sa RRC, di ba? yung IRC nung araw na chat.
Internet relay chat.
Yes. So lahat yan, take for granted. Ganun pala yung nangyayari behind my computer. Hindi ko talaga alam. Ngayon ko lang talaga narinig din to. Pero yeah, bago natin po continue yung ating usapan, magbe-break muna tayo with a few reminders lang.
Hello, I'm Melvin Calimag of Newsbytes.ph. Please like, subscribe, and share Tech Sabado on Facebook and YouTube.
Hi, Jing Garcia po ng TechSabado.com and the Manila Times. Like, share, and subscribe our social media assets sa YouTube and Facebook. Okay, we're back again dito sa Tech Sabado. Tuloy na natin yung yung last few minutes natin sa pagkwentuhan regarding yung Philippine internet connection kung nung nagsimula ito nung 1994, March 29. So ang ganda ng mga kwento, dami ko natutunan. Dahil nga tama nga si JR, sinasabi, take for granted na natin itong internet. Ako pala, for 30 years, taken for granted na yung nangyari. Ngayon ko lang narinig yung mga kwento na ganun para kahirap yung mga ginawa ninyo. Yung mga time na yun, effort talaga, just to connect that 64 kbps connection.
Buong bansa.
Sa buong bansa.
Para sa buong bansa.
Para sa buong bansa. So yan, tuloy natin. Yun na nga, isang question kanina, compare na natin kung ano man difference talaga, big difference ng internet ngayon saka yung app-based internet ngayon sa internet before. Especially now, nakikwento nga nila, yung mga tao daw, wala na sa internet. Nandun na lang sila sa mga social media platform.
Oo.
Di ba?
Social media platform na, it still runs on internet.
On the internet,
Oo,
yes.
medyo na lang.
Hindi na-go beyond
hindi na nakikita.
the platform.
Oo, kasi as JR said, take it for granted na yan. So, the internet is still there. Di ba? Pero yung mga Viber, WhatsApp, and all of these applications like WhatsApp and Waze, lahat tumatakbo yan sa internet.
Wow.
Yeah, but what's your take on the current state of internet in the Philippines? Yung development niya, progress niya?
Well, because of internet, ang progress natin is almost at par with other countries. Ay, kung may bago sila, magagamit, alam na natin agad.
Okay.
Unlike dati, kasi di mo alam walang news, walang communication, walang ganon.
But there was a time na medyo mabagal yung development in terms of speed and everything dito sa Philippines compared sa neighboring countries, di ba?
Oo. Well, I can't comment much on that. I think, sa aking opinion ko lang, it's a matter of cost. Kasi yung mga telco nag-invest this much. So, kailangan ko bawiin. Di ba? Yung infra cost.
Yeah.
Ako, balikan ko yun. Kasi as from the business side, pwede yung masabi, malayo na yung internet natin, pero malayo pa rin. Okay. First thing is, may batas na pumipigil You cannot, which is the Constitution. Actually, hindi pala batas. The Constitution. May mga hard-coded values sa Constitution na dapat hindi nandun. So, one is the 60-40.
Oh, the ownership.
So, the ownership, if you become a telco, you have to do 60-40. Ang tagal na ng internet. Bakit wala si Amazon dito? Bakit wala si Google dito? In terms of infrastructure, it has to be something very big like yung gagawin ngayon with Facebook and the government para magkaroon sila ng infrastructure. Yun yung una. Next, yung batas natin sa kuryente. Nahuli. Internet runs on power. I mean, in fact, if you go to a data center right now, you don't buy rack space right now. You're actually buying retail power. Kasi given na yung capacity. So, malaki na yung improvement. We have enough capacity. Tama yung sinabi ni Kelsey. If you want fast internet, bayad ka lang. Pero yung common speed, medyo mabagal kasi shared yun So, yun yung rules of common. Isa pang problema dito sa Pilipinas, Englishero tayo So, we most of the time go foreign to get content. Instead of getting local. Kung nasa Japan ka, solid Japan yung content, doon lang sila. So, nationwide, improving na infrastructure, pero malayo pa. For me, dalawa lang ang bumubuhay sa internet. The fiber optic network, okay, siguro sama mo ni satellite ni Elon Musk, pero the fiber optic network and the internet exchanges. Without doubt, walang internet.
Pinoy yan eh.
Oo.
Pinoy gustong
Yun nga.
social network yun.
Yeah, di ba?
So, that's actually carrying it.
So we don't have enough content.
Wala
local content.
wala tayong
masyado.
internet exchange. Wala tayong internet exchange. Kasi nga, hindi makapasok ang telco because of the law. Although, di ba, there was an executive order by the former president to allow beyond 60. Pero nakakatakot pa rin kasi nasa constitution eh. 60-40 yung ruling.
Yes,
So, for example, if you go other countries, for example, in Japan, for example, one of the big internet, kung saan nila natitira sila, Yahoo. May Yahoo broadband pa. Although it's owned by practically by SoftBank. Pero pwede kasi. I can go to the US right now, register for a telco, and in a week's time, I'll have my license. Dito, hindi pa. Pinipigilan pa natin. So, isa yun. Ano? So, malayo na. I mean, if you go to the average speed of the internet, may kukumpara mo na naman sa ibang bansa. But still, if you want, siguro within the region, hindi pa rin tayo makasabay, for example, with the Japan and the Korea network. Iba yun, ano? And that goes naman to the issue of the last mile. Yung last mile ngayon kasi, dati ang last mile was the physical cable, the lease line. The last mile right now is the wireless connectivity to the your phone right now. So the last mile right now that we have is the 4G, the 5G network that we have. So syempre, ibang usapin na naman yun. Ano?
Which is owned by the telco na.
Which is owned by the telco. But other than that, ang daming issue rin natin. Hindi sila makapagtayo ng cell site, ayaw pumayat. Imagine when the new, di ba yung Konektadong Pinoy, may bagong batas, ano? Umaangal yung telco just for them to put up a cell site. Parang napakahaba yung listahan nila. From the national to the local government, just to set up one. Hindi katulad sa ibang bansa. I mean, required yun, ano? Pero with new technology, may pag-asa. Like with 5G and the advanced 5G technology, lumiliit na. Kaya kung napupunan nyo, dumaganda na yung connectivity. Pero ironic pa rin, ano? Kasi nasa Maynila tayo. Labas ka lang ng konti. Labas ka lang ng konti.
Wala na.
Bumabagsak na, no?
Ito problema namin in my previous organization. Mag-set up ka nga internet or network sa someplace. Parating down. Pinuputol. Ninanakaw yung kable.
Ninanakaw yung kable. Oo.
Diba?
Real problem yan.
Ngayon, fiber na.
Oo.
Pinuputol yan. Tapos nakita, fiber pala.
Oo.
Wala na, naputol na.
Putol na yan.
Kaya nga yung iba, di ba, even sa, ang daming meme lumalabas sa internet. Pag may may kable sila, nalagyan nila, do not steal, this is fiber.
Pero may may connector na yun, ha?
Marami na pinutol.
Papalitan buo.
Pero ako, yung internet natin, looking forward the future, nasa cities pa rin. In fact, ang kailangan i-empower ng internet at this time, para hindi mauli, yung probinsya. Kung bibigyan natin ng importansya, dapat sila. Syempre, from a business point of view, konti yung subscriber ko doon. Why will I invest in infrastructure?
Dito, ang magaling si Starlink.
Yan.
Yun ang palangga sa...
Ngayon gusto kong tanongin about yung ISP losing ground to the telcos, di ba? Wala na. Talagang zero na sila eh.
Wala nang ISP.
Oo, talagang
kasi
wala
ng
na.
ISP. Mga telco, kasi may economy scale sila eh. So they can provide the service cheaper than everybody else.
If you want that to happen, dapat gumawa sila ng batas to unbundle the service. Parang ginagawa sa Japan. So, iba yung infrastructure provider, iba yung ISP provider. Pero at this point kasi, hindi mo na rin magawa kasi yung telepono mo, pag binili mo yung telepono mo, ang basic na kailangan sa telepono mo ngayon, data eh. Yung voice nga, hindi mo na kailangan eh. Basta may data ka eh. So, hindi mo na mahiwala.
Yung voice itself is VoIP. So,
most of the voice right now.
Baliktad na, no? Na parang dati nga, you need a phone line to have an internet. Now you have to have an internet to have a phone line.
In the 1990s, in the late 90s, VoIP was a taboo for the telco. Kasi kakainin yung nila. Pero sabi ko, it's a matter of when hindi if when So, ngayon naman, nandiyan na yan. Ang nakakaawa are the fringes. Kasi nga, kung nakita niyo yung epekto sa atin, di ba? Nagkaroon ng BPO. Pero, ano pa rin, di ba? Centric pa rin sa mga cities.
Pa rin.
Well, practically speaking, Imperial Manila pa rin. Other than Manila, you go, for example, south. So, kunwari, punta kang Northern Mindanao, Cagayan de Oro. Gaano kaganda infrastructure sa Cagayan de Oro? Maybe you go to Xavier University, MSU, maganda. Labas ka ng konti, Border siguro papuntang Bukidnon, ano na yung speed mo? So, yun eh. Then, again, it's business and ano. Pero ako, baka dyan makatulong yung gobyerno. Kasi, wala naman silang kinita nung tinayo yung internet eh. But if you do, well, they have plans, ano, yung mga next wave cities. If they do that, yun yung pag-asa na...
Pero the government was in the right track eh. Pero medyo naligaw konti eh. Diba? If you need a franchise in this area, you need to service this small area na voice. Diba? Pero...
Wala nang voice kasi. Walang voice needs
kaya
eh.
part ng ng deregulation na nung
correct.
kaya pumasok yung mga ibang phone lines. So kailangan meron silang certain numbers of phone lines sa mga telephones.
Okay sana yun eh. Ang problema, from a regulated, they made it into a cartel. Bakit ko sinabing cartel? Hinati nila yung bansa eh.
Yes,
So northern side of Manila, ganito, southern, eastern.
Yes.
Teka, walang competition yun.
Oo.
Diba? Parang PLDT plus another telco. So, and also, it's bad for the business. Bakit? Walang demand doon. Pinipilit mo maglagay ng 100,000 telepono roon eh.
Wala namang
demand doon. So, that became issue. Kaya naubos din yung telco. Diba? Kung nabunan nyo from a few telcos, biglang dumami sila. Ilan na lang telco ngayon? PLDT, Smart, Globe.
Bayantel.
Wala na Bayantel.
Wala na rin
Was bought by Digital, and Digital was bought by Globe. Dito yung third.
Dito yung third.
So yun yung third. There are some like Converge, pero hindi siya
Eastern,
traditional telco. Eastern.
Mostly fixed eh.
Pero fixed line. Pero yun
Fixed
nga, kung
line.
gusto mong buhayin talaga, ikalat mo dun sa fringes. So,
Like sa Singapore, there's about 6 yata or 7 telecom na...
hindi naman yung dami. Kasi there are countries, for example, sa Japan, isa lang ang major telco.
NTT. Docomo.
Pero kahit saan ka sa Japan, halos may signal. Kahit saan ka sa Japan, naalala ko, I had a small data center in Japan. We bought a container. That was in 2006 siguro that time. Sabi ko na sa Japan, pwede bang kumuha ako ng rito, ng 50 Mbps line? Nagtaka ko, 2 weeks hindi bumabalik sa akin yung telco. Hindi makasagot. Sabi ko, alam ko nasa remote area ko, pero 50 Mbps na bumalik sa akin, nakikiusap. Kung pwede raw 500 minimum ang kunin ko. Hindi pala nila maibaba yung infrastructure nila. Ganun sila. Even in the US, sa US kung napupunan nyo, noon pa lang, lupa pa lang may telephone number na.
Oo nga, no.
Lupa pa lang may telephone number na.
Saka pwedeng pumili kung anong service gusto
Yes.
mo. May
Tayo kasi, naghihintay ng demands. Well, you understand it kasi business naman yan. Pero yun, dun tayo nahuhuli.
And then the question is, the infrastructure first business or business first infrastructure?
Yan.
Okay, bago tayo magtapos, bago natin tapusin yung programa regarding yung first time natin nag-connect sa internet. Anong dream speed ng Philippines? When it comes to internet connection. Kasi anong tayo
64.
nag-start? From 9 kbps?
64 yung first connection.
64.
Sa akin, the key is latency.
Latency, yes.
Gano'ng kabilis. Kung gano'ng kabilis, download mo yung Netflix movie. Diba? Pero gano'ng kabilis ang response time. Kasi then we can open up a lot of more applications na
So QoS pa rin, quality of service pa rin ang habol natin.
Quickly lang kasi pag sinabi kasi natin, speed, yung speed kasi maraming factor. Ang dami natin nag-speed test. Yung speed test nun, yung telepono mo hanggang doon sa server ng pinag-speed mo. Tapos, ang hindi natin binabasa, yung numero sa baba.
Yung latency.
Minsan nakalagay doon, ping rate or late. Yun yung round trip ng data. Mas importante yun. So, for traditional services ng internet, email, download, hindi mo importante latency. Pwede maghintay yan. But for more modern service, real-time, rich content, for example, broadcast, e-games. Games is very important. So, pag naglalaro ka, tapos na-delay ka, patay na yung hero mo. Di ba? Nagbo-broadcast ka, kunwari ng live, tapos kumurap, patay na. So, factor na hindi bandwidth latency. I think at this rate, tapos yung sa current use natin, mataas na yung bandwidth ng Pilipinas.
Okay.
We're hitting 20, 30.
Medyo maganda.
Medyo maganda na yun. Pero, wala tayong consistency. Wala tayong consistency.
Quality of service na tinatawag, yes.
Wala tayong consistency. So, for example, nandito ka, kunwari sa BGC on a weekend, walang problema. Wala kang kaaway.
Yes.
So, yun ang problema natin. Yung tipping point lagi. Maski naman sa lahat tipping point ng airport natin, pag umabot ka sa punuan, problema na. Di ba? So, Pilipino pa naman, last minute, di ba? For example, isa sa advocacy ko, NAMPREL ako, di ba? Kinaiinis namin, umaangal sila sa COMELEC yung last day na registration, ng haba ng pila. Pero yung 60 days before that, walang pila. Yun yung tipping point. So, tayo, nagsabay-sabay tayong gumamit ng cellphone, problema yan. So, ako, importante sa akin sabihin, internet is a finite resource. Hindi siya parang gripo na bubuksan mo lang, kaya mo tumunog. Yung iba, makikinig lang ng music, sa YouTube pa makikinig, kasama yung video. Nakikinig lang ng music yun. Okay? Hindi ka naman nanonood ng video, gusto mo pakinggan. And if you're using the bandwidth, there, you're using 2 Mbps versus a 32 kilobit bandwidth. Di ba? Anong sayang?
Naalala ko tuloy yung sa ChatGPT na kasi ChatGPT consumes 10 times sa pag nagtanong ka doon compared sa ordinary Google na yung energy consumption kasi dapat nga huwag ka na mag-thank you.
Totoo yan. Huwag ka na mag-please, huwag ka na mag-
Correct. Kasi nga, it consumes too much power.
Pero in the future, ma-remember ka niya pag naging sentient na siya, ma-remember niya na ikaw yung hindi nagka-thank you.
Pasalamatan si JR and si Kelsey, our tech titos, tech lolos.
Titos na naman.
3 years old na ako.
Parang this is an oral history of the local internet, no?
Mismo.
Also would like to thank yung mga pumanaw natin ng mga kaibigan, sila Jim Ison, who wrote a comprehensive history of the local internet, yung genesis niya, yung origin. Of course, pumanaw na si Dr. Willigan, si Dr. Villarica, si Benji, of course. These are the we give due respect to these guys.
Who are responsible for us connecting to the net.
Correct, ayun. So we'd like to thank them and for their contributions.
Of course. May last words ba for audience regarding ngayon the proper use of the internet. Kelsey?
Well, internet, whether you like it or not, parang utility na yan eh. You expect it to be there, you expect it to work, di ba? Sana maganda rin quality natin. And then, that will spur more development. And the future is, well, basically, the sky's the limit. Ang dami mong pwede natin gawin na applications on using internet.
Yeah.
Ako, siguro, mga 12 years back, I was interviewed then, ang 20th anniversary. Ano yung view ko sa internet? Pareho pa rin. The internet can be the great equalizer, especially for a country like the Philippines. Pwede natin gamitin siya, promote, to do service, to market, gamitin lang natin. Sana lang ikalat naman natin pababa. Okay, hindi lang sa there's still great disparity, may digital divide pa rin sa Pilipinas. Yung na-experience natin, for example, hindi na-experience sa someone from Southern Mindanao or from Visayas. So, sana maging equalizer talaga siya. Kasi nga, even UN mandates that internet is a basic, kasama na ng basic
right.
Basic rights na siya, access to it is basic rights. So, kung ngayon medyo mahal, mahirap, baka kailangan ng tulong muna ng gobyerno. So, diba parang ngayon, lahat kailangan ng load sa cellphone. So, sana may makonektahan naman yung cellphone nila na mabilis. So, the internet is there. Let's use it to our advantage. So, yun pa rin yung mensahe.
Okay. Thank you, Kelsey and JR, for very informative hour dito sa Tech Sabado. Papaalam na tayo, Atty.
Thank you very much to our source persons for today's episode. Bukas po ang pang-ilang anniversary?
30
second. Oh, bilang mo,
32 years.
32 years na palang internet sa Philippines. Since we, from yung Cebu pala, matindi rin naging role, gateway siya nung discovery, supposedly discovery ng Philippines in 1521. And then in 1994.
That's the reason kaya doon ginawa.
Okay. Tapos naging gateway din siya ulit sa tawag pa nila, internet of information superhighway. So that's very interesting. And we'd like to thank our guys here for the role in connecting the Philippines to the internet. Okay, Tito Tribs, meron ka bang sasabihin?
Magandang gabi po at maraming salamat sa mga guests natin. Nahilo ako sa information overload Pero gusto ko lang sabihin, ang internet ay hindi pang trolling. Gusto ko sabihin. Maraming salamat po. Tito Tribs, Raymund Tribdino ng The Manila Times at ng cleantechnica.com. Ngayong araw po na to, March 28, basahin niyo po ang Science and Technology page ng The Manila Times.
Okay, Jing Garcia po ng TechSabado.com and of course, The Manila Times. So, lahat po na magbabakasyon next week sa Holy Week. Ingat-ingat lang po and have a very blessed and Holy Week sa mga darating na araw na. Maraming salamat po. Good night, everyone. Thank you.